And here we are, equipped with the world's most sophisticated sensory apparatus known to humankind. But how much do we really know about our own sense organs? The avenues and receptors of perception, our cognitive frameworks, the instruments of sensation, the five senses, our sense organs. Think of your eyes as the camera capturing the visual world. But remember, what you see isn't always an exact replica of reality. Your brain constructs a map of the world based on the information your eyes send, and this map can sometimes include things that aren't really there, like optical illusions. Similarly, your ears are like microphones recording the sounds around you, but your brain can sometimes create auditory hallucinations, making you hear things that aren't actually present. Now, your nose is like a sensor for sense, but it's not infallible. Sometimes it can trick you into smelling things that aren't real, especially when memories and emotions come into play. Moving on to taste, your tongue can distinguish various flavors, but it can also be influenced by your perceptions and expectations. Something might taste better or worse depending on what you believe about it. Lastly, your skin is your tactile explorer, feeling textures and temperatures, but it can also be deceived, like when you feel an itch that isn't there. So, while your sense organs are amazing tools for understanding the world, they're not always perfect. Your brain adds its own interpretation, creating the map that you perceive as reality, and sometimes that map can include things that exist only in your mind. From the very inception of our brain's evolution at conception, these remarkable mechanisms have been at play, aiding us in comprehending the cosmos that surrounds us, womb included. Long before we possessed the linguistic tools to articulate our thoughts, our minds were already hard at work, deciphering the enigma of the external world through our sense organs, while simultaneously perceiving our own existence as entities within this vast tapestry. It's a phenomenon we as mature beings often take for granted, but it is, in fact, a profound aspect of our journey through life. This becomes evident when we come across individuals with unique brain injuries, especially when these brain injuries occur later in life when the changes are much more apparent and well documented. You know, it's quite revealing. This journey into the depths of our minds, perception, the subjective and objective realms, the fascinating world of neuroscience, and even the mind-boggling domain of quantum physics. What we're uncovering here at the close of 2023 is that our perception of reality isn't this straightforward, unfiltered stream of what is entering our nervous systems. We do not actually see reality as it is, outside of us coming into our nervous systems in real time, unfiltered. No, it's more like a complex dance between our inner world and the external one, brought to life through language and words, a dynamic process where our minds play a significant role in shaping what we perceive. Unfortunately, all we're really getting is our brain's best guess based on the previous information it has accumulated through our sense organs. It's a very closed-loop system of predictions based on the brain's previous best guesses. Okay, imagine your brain as a super smart detective. It tries its best to figure out what's happening around you based on all the things you've seen and felt before. But sometimes it's like making a guess because it can't see everything clearly, sitting inside our skulls. So, our brain does its best to guess what's real, using the things it already knows. Unfortunately, the crux of the matter lies in the brain's inherent limitation. What we're essentially receiving is the brain's most educated guess, carefully crafted from the reservoir of sensory data it has diligently accumulated over time. This intricate process forms a self-contained predictive loop, one that draws heavily from prior experiences and the brain's constant quest for the most accurate approximation of reality. The real gem in this conundrum is that language and words are our most versatile allies in our quest for hacking our individual reality tunnels, or hacking the matrix, if that phrasing works better for you. The problem is, as Timothy Leary so aptly put it in one of his lectures, is that language is inherently oppressive. That is to say, if I know the language and you don't, then I hold the power dynamic in the situation.
And language has always been basically a device of oppression. It's a device, if I know the language and you don't. When you're going to think of it, a language is the philosophy of the 20th century and the 21st century is the philosophy of language, linguistics. And when you think about it, language is basically an alienating device. Imagine you're in a situation where you're there with two people and they speak a language you don't speak, and you have something important, and it's kind of freaky. It alienates, it causes paranoia. I mean, language is used. I would say that 90% of the conflicts and wars in the world, not to mention just normal marital problems, are caused by language. Okay, and I want to close now with an example of how the new language will work. If I write out, or if you can speak the words, the boy fell out of the tree. 80% of the human race doesn't know what I'm talking about because they don't understand English. Okay. And they're paranoid already. What the fuck does he mean? What's he doing that? I don't like the looks of that. I don't like the way that sounds. The 20% of the people who do understand my words, you don't really understand my words. Who is the boy? And why is he in the tree? And why did he fall out? Well, I know why. The boy is obviously a Palestinian boy, and he's got a rock and he's throwing it at Jewish settlers. No. The kid is obviously an Irish kid in Belfast, and he's throwing the rock through a Protestant's window. No. The boy he's that nasty, dirty little boy down the street that's climbing the tree to look in my wife's window. You see how language, the way we use it now, breeds alienation, breeds paranoia, breeds basic confusion? All right, within 2 or 3 years, we have the technology right now. Within 2 or 3 years, we'll have this available in a very inexpensive form. It involves, in addition to the new multimedia appliances I talked about, something called iPhones. Have you heard about virtual reality? Telepresence. These are goggles, glasses. They're just like sunglasses. You flip them on and off. And they're basically small computer screens with tremendously high definition. You can't believe the new super definition on these kind of things. And with an 11 degrees parallax, so you have the illusion that it's 3D. In other words, instead of the flat television or computer screen, it now becomes a box, and you're in it. You turn this way, you can see that, and turn that. I'm intimidated by this room already, but you can be in San Francisco and you can be in Tokyo, and you put these things on, and I dial up this room, and we're both here looking around, interacting. Okay, in 2 or 3 years, we'll have the appliances, so if you want to take that sentence.
Just like modern-day computer hackers. If they know the programming language better than the average person or mega corporation using it, if the shaman, king, priest, doctor, politician, parent, educator, mentor, or teacher knows the language and you don't, I think you see where I'm going with this. Controlling language is much more important than controlling monetary systems. Throughout history, there has been a concerted effort to keep the mass populations of the world more easily pliable by keeping them uneducated, or in the least, miseducated, unable to read or write, and things of this nature. This has had a tremendous impact on the human being completely and totally. It has always been a key tactic to control people in large populations. I mean, if you control language, you control words and how they're used. Then you can control how an individual can use their own body, how they're able to form and access their own memories, and how they can learn and behave, right down to who and what they think they are, and what they think they're capable of. In the beginning was the Word. Clearly, words are very important. Understanding language and its impact on how we formulate and manifest our subjective and objective experiences moment by moment is your first line of defense against anything. Reality, whatever that happens to be. The reality we construct and represent using words and our native language is ultimately the last place an enemy of mankind would want any one person actually looking. Look at how mind-blowing it was for some people when they first heard of the Black's Law Dictionary, and people like Jordan Maxwell taught the difference between our common language and some of the definitions used in law, and how important language is in our judicial systems, and the differences in the law of the land and the law of the sea. Now that revelation, Black's Law Dictionary, is great and all, but what if I told you that even more earth-shattering than that is the power inherent in learning and ultimately understanding the distinctions in language found in neuro-linguistic programming and Ericksonian hypnosis? I chose to start this journey with the representational systems because we use them every day, and most of us are completely unconscious of the power that lay in understanding the language models behind each of our sense organs and how we use them in all of our communications, whether we're aware of it or not. I'm also personally quite interested in the Gnostic material found in the Nag Hammadi library. Seemingly unrelated, but as far as the representational systems go, I've often postulated that the 5 trees spoken of in the Gospel of Thomas saying, number 19 could be referring to our 5 senses, the 5 branches of information that are fed to our brain through our nervous system by our sense organs. So I thought it would be a great place to start getting acquainted with the material found in neuro-linguistic programming. For reference, this is the saying that I'm talking about, number 19. Jesus said, "Blessed is he who came into being before he came into being. If you become my disciples and listen to my words, these stones will minister to you. For there are 5 trees for you in paradise which remain undisturbed summer and winter, and whose leaves do not fall. Whoever becomes acquainted with them will not experience death." In the context I postulated about our 5 senses, it becomes quite a powerful saying. And he also said, "Whoever finds the interpretation of these sayings will not experience death," in the very first saying. Right from the start of the document, my friend, it's all about how we interpret things, the language we use, and delving deeper into the mysteries of words. It's like embarking on an epic quest, a puzzle that guides us through life, and at the end of the journey lies the most extraordinary treasure of all. At the very least, gnosis, better known as experiential knowledge, or rather, the knowledge you gain from actually experiencing something yourself. Well, you see, this is a bit of a personal fascination of mine, and I figured it might tickle your curiosity just as much as it tickles mine. But hey, no need to fret if it's not your cup of tea. This course, my friend, is not about deciphering ancient texts. I want to make one thing abundantly clear: I'm not here to preach or push any agenda. My sole focus is to guide you in mastering the language you use every single day. The goal? It's all about enhancing the quality and effectiveness of your daily conversations. Instead, this course, The World is Made of Language series, will be about understanding how people are capable of doing miraculous things by understanding language and neurology, then using that knowledge to their advantage to showcase the profound abilities of the human body and consciousness. I've put together a few demonstrations and examples that, in my opinion, showcase the raw power of language and words in their native habitat, and how you can, just by taking a little bit of time to learn, for instance, the representational systems, you can dramatically improve what you're capable of communicating and experiencing as a human being. And you might discover, as you delve deeper into this knowledge, you'll find a remarkable bonus: the power to shield yourself from those who seek to manipulate and exert undue influence. This newfound wisdom becomes your protective cloak against those who might not have your best interests in mind. Additionally, as you begin to embrace this knowledge, you can prepare to unlock doors to uncharted realms of experience that might have eluded your perception until now. It's like a cosmic key granting you access to dimensions you never knew existed within yourself. You know, the human brain, my friend, it's a vast landscape that science has ventured deeply into, but it's still mostly uncharted territory. We've uncovered a wealth of knowledge, no doubt about it. Yet there's this tantalizing veil of mystery, a vast unknown that beckons us to explore further. It's a thrilling journey navigating the known and the unknown in the realms of the mind. As we gracefully enter this intriguing voyage, consider the world as a canvas painted with the vivid strokes of sensory experiences. It's an ever-evolving masterpiece where you'll naturally find yourself drawn to explore and expand your understanding. So, my friend, I eagerly anticipate our rendezvous within the enchanting realm of The World is Made of Language. But for now, allow me to leave you with this.